can it take to prove a theory?
How odd is it to eat insects?
And how can you never be lost at sea?
How can I achieve the impossible?
Fred, I've seen you do the improbable, but the impossible is impossible.
Right.
Yes, I'm sorry to have to say it, Fred, but you will never achieve the impossible.
I will show you how. A simple, brilliant, scientific how that you can do at home with permission, of course. Let me demonstrate what I intend to do. 2 glasses, both full of water, right?
Yeah?
One on top of the other, brim to brim.
Yeah.
Place them on a tray. Now, how can I raise the top glass without the water pouring out?
You can't. That's impossible.
That
It really
is
is impossible.
It's impossible.
Can't be.
Well worth a little 10p wager there.
Definitely.
Easy money.
So if I can raise the top glass without the water coming out, I can keep the money, yes?
Yeah, yeah.
Let me show you how you do it.
You're going to get wet, Fred.
You'll know. You'll need another coin, and you slide that coin with incredible precision between the 2 glasses. So there is a gap between them, but the water does not come out.
How are you doing it?
How come? Surface tension. The molecules in the water pulling together, preventing that water getting out. Thousands of little molecules, you can't see them, pulling like bilio, stopping the water getting out. A successful how, I think. 10p all round, and that's how to achieve the impossible.
Very good. Now, how do you wrap a sari? Well, although I hate to admit it, I don't actually know the answer to this, but we have a lady in the studio who does. Rita Sharma, welcome to How. Now, where do we start?
Right, you need to put your petticoat on first. So if you put that on tight quite securely.
Around my waist?
Mm-hmm.
Right. And you're taking hold of the material?
Yeah, one corner of it, of the sari.
Yes.
If we start tucking it in from about 2 inches away from the right hip.
Okay.
That goes round.
Tucked in. And I keep tucking it in all the way round.
That's right, yeah.
Okay,
So
I'll
that
do
it goes round just the once.
Okay. Now, how much material is here, Rita?
That's 6 yards, actually.
That's an awful lot, isn't it? It's not terribly heavy, though.
No, it's quite light. Most saris are quite light,
Yes.
yeah.
Right.
Okay. What we
Yes.
do is we just take the opposite corner, and just pleat it really quickly. This is the bulla. This is the section that goes over your shoulder.
Okay. The bulla.
That right? That
word.
goes under your left
Under
shoulder,
there.
under the right arm, and then just fling it over.
Over my left shoulder.
Yeah, okay.
Right.
And now what we do is come to the other side, and we start pleating. This is the most difficult, the bit that takes the longest time.
Do all saris wrap in the same way?
Yeah, they do, but there are regional differences. Like Gujaratis would tie their sari in a different way, Bengalis tie them in a different way. The way I'm showing you is just a general way, which you can vary.
This is the everyday method, is
Yes,
it?
the everyday method.
All right. Now, are the colours symbolic in any way?
Not really, no. Colours are vary as with, you know, the fashions, so they're not really symbolic, but... Right, now what we're going to do is work on the bulla. And as you can see, the bulla's quite short, but if you want to make it a little bit longer, all you
Yes.
do is you get this material here, you see, that you're left with, and just pull at it a little bit, and as you can see,
Yes, that
the
extends
bulla
it.
extends. Then we bring it around your shoulder, put it up there, and you can either pleat it, or you can just, depending how thin the sari is, just crunch it up, leave it there, and secure it with a brooch, and that's it.
And that's my sari. It is absolutely beautiful.
It looks lovely. Very nice.
Well, thank you very much indeed,
Thank you.
Rita. And that is how you wrap a sari.
How can you never be lost at sea?
Never?
Well, never. It's a nautical how. Now, I'm about to go on a long ocean-going voyage. I shall need some navigation equipment, for instance, a compass. I'll need a telescope to make sure I know where I'm going. Better take the binoculars, actually. Yeah, and need a set of dividers to go with the charts, calculator to work it all out, need chart tables. And Fred, have you got my maps?
Yes, here's your map.
Yep.
Gaz, Godspeed.
Thanks, Fred. already you can see the kind of problems I'm going to run into. In order to find my way around the seas of this planet, I need lots of different bits of equipment. But all aboard the good ship Rebecca, and off we go on me travels. Hang on, put that there. Right. Stroke, stroke, stroke. Right, just to check my position, let's see, which way am I going? Compass. North that way, I think. Right, now I need to know how fast I'm going so that I can work out how long I've been travelling. So the ship's log has to go overboard, and I measure the length of time it takes for it to go along the side of the ship. Check the watch, work that out on the calculator. Oh, I didn't allow for the...
So, you're lost, aren't you?
I'm afraid so. Well, I would have been lost up till now. All this equipment has been replaced by one simple device, and this is it. It's a global satellite positioning system. It's a radio receiver. All I do is turn it on, hit the right buttons, ask it where I am, there, and what it does is tune into 17 satellites which are orbiting the Earth at about 11,000 miles. Now, each one of those satellites is broadcasting the time of day and its relative position. So, if this machine here receives a signal from 3 satellites or more, it works out how long it takes for that radio signal to travel from the satellite to here. If it knows how long it takes, it knows the distance, and therefore can work out my relative position on Earth. And in this case, in latitude and longitude, it tells me I am 51 degrees north.
51 degrees north.
And half a degree east. So where's that, Fred?
Half a degree east.
Yeah.
You're in the house studio, you fool.
Exactly. And that's how you can never be lost at sea. Now, where's me paddle?
How odd is it to eat insects?
Insects, that's disgusting. Yuck.
Precisely, and that is the reaction of most Europeans, but in fact in most of the rest of the world it isn't odd at all. Let me show you exactly what I mean. For example, in Asia, and that includes parts of China and Japan as well, they are very partial to black crickets, to silk moth chrysalis, and also to the giant cockroach, readily available and full of nourishment. In India, they love the giant locust, again, full of protein. I'll have a plate of number 37, please, the locust vindaloo. In Australia, the Aborigines are very fond of the witchetty grub, the bogan moth, and indeed the grasshopper, readily available. The Middle East now, and again, like the Indians, they are very fond of locusts. The Africans adore the hawk moth caterpillar, and there they are. Again, eat them in their thousands. The Americas, many people like giant mealworm. There's some mealworms there. In Colombia and other parts of South America, they adore fried ants, and they take them to the cinema in bags, rather like we take, I don't know, popcorn.
You're joking?
No, it's true. And then the CIS, they like housefly pupae, and here they are down there. So you see, look what's left. Europe and Scandinavia. We don't eat insects, the rest of the world do. So it isn't odd at all. And just to prove how odd it is or it isn't, I prepared myself rather a delicious meal. In fact, we can all enjoy this. A nice little mixture here. We've got giant hawk moths, we've got mealworms, and we've got some delicious little locusts. Carol?
Absolutely never.
Never.
No.
Toppy?
You seem to have forgotten, Fred, I'm a vegetarian.
Ah, OK, well, I'll enjoy this meal on my own then. We'll start with a bit of hawk moth first of all. It's actually meaty, rather nice. Try a bit of mealworm. And a little bit of locust.
Oh, Fred. Oh.
Delicious. And now, moving on to my pudding.
Oh, no.
Brandy snaps surprise. Brandy snaps filled with wax moth larvae and cream.
Oh, Fred.
That's how odd it is to eat insects. It's not odd at all.
Disgusting. Now, how long can it take to prove a theory? Well, first of all, what is a theory? A theory is something that you think is right and then try to go on and prove it by doing an experiment. So we'll have a bit of theorising here in the studio. I've got a hammer and a feather. Now, if I drop them from the same height at the same time, what do you think will hit the ground first?
The hammer.
I theorise the hammer will hit the ground.
All right,
first.
that's your theory. Here's the experiment. And you're absolutely right. But why? Why are you
Obviously,
right?
because the hammer's heavier. Yeah.
So if two things weigh the same, they'll hit the ground at the same time?
That's what my
They're the
theory
same.
says.
That is your theory. Here is a rock which weighs 1 kilogram. Here is a bag of paper that also weighs 1 kilogram. Yes? They weigh the same. They will fall from the same height. Which one will hit the ground first?
No, they're both hit the
Same.
ground at the same time.
That's your theory.
Yeah.
Here's the experiment. Which hit the ground first?
The rock, marginally.
Marginally, but it did hit the ground first. So your theory was wrong, and the reason for that is air resistance. The bag is a lot bigger, there's more air resistance, just like with a parachute, so it slows it down, and therefore the rock hits the ground
But
first.
what about the how, Carol?
Yes, the how.
Ah, the how. Well, for that, we have to think about a scientist called Galileo.
Well, the chap from the Queen song. Galileo, 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 Galileo.
No. Italian scientist about 400 years ago, wasn't he?
I knew that, Fred, I knew
Very
that.
impressive. Yes, well, Galileo did exactly what we've just done, except that because he was quite a brilliant scientist, far more brilliant than us, he had another theory, and that was all to do with the Leaning Tower of Pisa. The tower was good for experiments because it was very high and very leaning, and he could chuck lots of things out over the side. Now, his theory was that if there was no air in a place, then all things, no matter what shape, what size, what weight, they'd all fall at the same rate and hit the ground at the same time. But the problem was, he couldn't prove his theory because there was air around.
Well, how long did it take to prove his theory then?
Well, to prove the theory, absolutely, the experiments had to be done in a place where there was no air. And in 1971, on one of the moon landings, the American astronauts took with them a hammer and a feather, and this is what happened.
Well, in my left hand, I have a feather. In my right hand, a hammer. And I'll drop the two of them here, and hopefully they'll hit the ground at the same time. How about that? It proves that Mr. Galileo was correct in his findings.
So that's how long it took to prove a theory, nearly 400 years.
Now for a how involving skill and dexterity, which is why I'm doing it. How does a sewing machine work? I've been stitching people up for years, therefore I'm the man to do this particular how.
That's right.
All of us wear clothes every day of the week. All of those clothes have been sewn together by a sewing machine. So how does it work? Well, the principle is very simple. Two threads knotting together underneath a cloth. How does that happen? Watch me as I show you manually. Now, the needle here pulls one thread down through the cloth, with me?
Yep.
Where it's hooked on by a bobbin, which is this little round bit here. Still with me?
Yep.
As the needle goes back up, now, a loop of thread remains. Now, the second thread is around the bobbin there, which flips it through the loop, and the two threads knot together under the cloth. Did you or did you not understand that?
What was the bit, Fred, about after the
I
needle goes
knew
through?
you wouldn't grasp
The
it, so I have built a magnificent Dynage human sewing machine to explain how, and this time I'm really going to stitch you both up. Walk this way. This is the human sewing machine. Toppy, you're the bobbin. Tie yourself on the end there. You've got your thread attached to you.
Fine.
Carol on here. This is the
Right.
motor. You are the needle.
I am
That
the
is the
needle.
needle. This is the cloth we are going to sew. Toppy underneath. You're the bobbin. Off we go.
Right, there's a needle down.
Through
Yeah.
that loop. Bobbin through the loop, bringing you up.
through.
That's it. We
Needle up.
have our
Move
first
along.
stitch there. Stop. Down.
Right, needle down.
Down, through the loop. You're the bobbin. Come
Through
on,
the
quickly,
loop,
quickly,
through the-
quickly.
yeah, the
Almost
bobbin
ready on
through
you.
the loop.
Another lovely stitch. Okay,
Stop.
and stop
And
down.
needle down.
Give me the needle.
Through that loop, through that loop. Quickly, quickly, quickly.
Try again.
That's it. Lovely, lovely. Another stitch.
Yes,
Yes.
stop. And another stitch.
Down,
Stop,
down,
stop,
through the
stop.
loop. Quickly, bobbing through that loop. Forward behind you. Beautiful. Look at these lovely stitches. And that is how a sewing machine
And
works.
then we- oh.
And that is
Oh, how? And
now.
And for now, needle
Very
down.
simple, isn't it?
Can we purl one now?